One of my least favorite qualities is when I meet a lot of very successful people, and there's a bunch of them, whether they're famous or wealthy, they think that they got here on their own. Mm-hmm. And I always think, no, none of us got here on their own.
And look, I never want a kid. Sure, it's about hard work, but it's about all the other pieces that are in place. And some of those pieces are pieces that the government has a big part of. Mm-hmm. In fact, I'll tell you just one part of that. When I was 12, my daddy had a heart attack. And my 3 brothers are all off in the military at that point. It's just mom and dad and me. My mother's 50 years old, never worked outside the home. We had a long period with no money coming in. We lost the family station wagon, the bills pile up. We're about that far from losing our home. And I remember the day I walk into my parents' bedroom, my mom's got her best dress out, and she pulls that dress on, she's crying, she says, I am not gonna lose this house. She puts on her high heels, she puts on her lipstick, wipes her eyes. She walks to the Sears and gets a minimum wage job at Sears. And here's the key part. That minimum wage job saved our home, it saved our family, but it was a time in America when a minimum wage job would keep a family of 3 afloat. We must raise the minimum wage.
Right.
So other families get that too.
You talk about how, you talk in your book, you really came to a lot of attention with your system is rigged speech.
Yeah.
And you really believe that the system is rigged and that there are these incredible benefits, obviously, to huge corporations. And you contrast it with the situation that a lot of young people are out there with student loans.
Yeah.
Where the student loans they're paying, some of them are paying 12%.
Oh, God, yeah. Depending on when they got them, it's 6%, 8%, 10%, 12%. If they've got private student loans, it's even higher than that.
And these are kids, literally kids, or just young adults who are saddled with a debt that they cannot possibly pay. And you contrast that with giant companies that are paying next to nothing.
That's right, paying next to nothing in taxes. So here's the deal. So I introduced a bill to reduce the interest rate on student loans. And
That's pretty.
But here's the part I want you to understand about this bill on reducing the interest rate on student loans. The interest rate on student loans right now is set so that after you account for the bad debt losses, the ones that go south, and the administrative costs and the cost of the funds, it's set to produce tens of billions of dollars in profits for the United States government. Just the loans from 2007 to 2012, that little slice of loans, on target to produce $66 billion in profits for the United States government. The United States government should not be making profits off the backs of kids who are trying to get an education.
You have a plan, which is how to pay. You have a plan on how you would pay. Obviously, the money's got to come from somewhere if we refinance student debt. So how would you pay?
So here's the crazy thing. You'd think the government in a democracy could just say, hey, we're just going to reduce the interest rate. How about like to a break-even point, okay? Not even subsidizing, right, but just break even. Problem is, the government has already pre-spent all the profits on student loans. So if you want to reduce the interest rate, you've got to find somebody else to put the money in to fund the government over the next decade or so. And so what we proposed, what I said I thought we should do, is we said, let's have millionaires and billionaires pay taxes at least the same rate that middle-class families do. And we'll use that extra money to make up the difference for the kids. But that's where you get to the heart of it, because there is no clearer choice. As a government, we can decide we're either going to spend the same lump of money either to keep tax loopholes open for billionaires or to reduce the interest rate on student loans. And you want to guess who's winning right now? The billionaires. And that's wrong. That's why we have to fight back.
You know, what